Good morning. Happy Friday. It's Coffee and a Card Day, and I am here to show you another fun card using the totally awesome, totally cute collection of products from the Stampin' Up! 2025-2026 annual catalog. So cute. There's some lot of products that you can use with your card making or scrapbooking, and it is just so adorable. I think you're just going to fall in love with these guys. So, welcome. Happy Friday. Welcome as people are joining on. It's wonderful if you can say a little hello and maybe where you're from. It's always fun to see what our reach is and how many people we're joining with, sharing our craft from around the country and around the world. We've had people from outside the US join us, and it's all so much fun knowing that we can connect with each other globally and share what we love. It's just lots of fun. I just love it. And I appreciate you coming in every Friday and sharing this event with me. So grab your coffee or your tea or your Diet Coke, whatever you're drinking this morning. Sit back and relax, and we'll have a fun time. We'll wait for a couple of minutes while some people are joining on. Okay, say a little hello if you can, and we'll get started soon. I'm going to take my sip of my coffee. That hits the spot. So, how's everybody today? Did you guys have a good week? Any special plans for the weekend? We're supposed to have a little picnic, neighborhood picnic up on the lawn across the street from us. And it looks like it's going to get rained out. Beautiful day right now, but right around the time we're supposed to start, it's supposed to rain. So it got rained out once already 2 weeks ago, and it was rescheduled. Not for last weekend because it was Memorial Day and people might have been away doing other things. So it's rescheduled for today, but it's not looking good. So it would be the first one for our season. We do them monthly, and it's fun to get together with neighbors and just kind of see what's going on, say hello. All right. So welcome, everybody. And let's get started with a totally awesome, totally cute, sweet collection. All right, now I'm going to tell you some special offers that Stampin' Up! Has as far as sweets and a BOGO sale. And oh my gosh, of course, there's the awesome starter kit that is available just for 2 more days. So hang in there. If you're still on the fence about joining or not, please reach out. Ask me anything you want. I'll be going on live at 3 o'clock today. If you want to stop in and hear a little bit more, or if you have any questions, you can reach out and ask me then. Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick overview of what it means to be a demonstrator and what your responsibilities and what your perks are. So, all right, so I'm going to take another sip and then we'll turn the camera around. Okay, here we go. All right, so the suite I'm using is Totally Awesome is the name of the stamp set and the dies that coordinate. The suites are usually named after the DSP. Not really sure all why, but that's the way they do it. So we have Totally Cute is the DSP or Designer Series paper. Good morning, Patty. Hi, Lydia. So the Designer Series paper has such variety of images that you can use here. Of course, there are there 4? Or let me see. There's several different layouts of what you can, themes you can do with the turtles. So I know this is really busy on the camera, but we have some musicians here. We have some picnic and old-fashioned bike theme here. We have, okay, there are 4 different ones. We have sort of like a nature, bird watching, gardening kind of a theme. And then there's also this really fun one that's summer barbecue, spa, cocktails, and swimming, sandcastles, things like that. And then, of course, There are the back sides that are more generic patterns, and you have two that are that turtle shell pattern there. This one is a small one, and then there's one that's a bigger one as well. Okay, this one features pretty peacock, and this has some of the garden green and the granny apple green. So fun little random dots you can use for birthdays and whatever. And sometimes Stampin' Up! Has a sheet like this that has sections that you can cut out and then create your own scenes, use them as backgrounds or use them as part of your scrapbook layout. There is a separate pack of this designer series paper that is specific for scrapbookers because it has a whole page of just stickers. So you can opt to have that instead. I believe that's the one that you will see in the catalog, but I believe when you look online, you can get this, and this is part of the suite. Okay, so speaking of suites, starting June 3rd and throughout the month of June, you can get a buy one, get one 50% off on any suite in the catalog or the online exclusives, or you can get any product from the suite. So let's say you just wanted the stamp set. This is part of a suite. So you can get this and get another part of any other suite 50% off, whichever one is equal or lesser value. Okay, so either the whole suite or just part of the suite. If you order a whole suite, but then only want the stamp set of something else, then you'll get half off the stamp set. Okay, get it? Because that's lesser value. Okay, so that's coming in June the 3rd, starts on the 3rd and goes to the 30th. Okay, part of this suite also has stamp and cut emboss folder, and you get that nice turtle shell effect there. Do this on blue and it can look like ripples in the water, so it doesn't have to be turtle shells. Okay, you have that, and then of course there are fun embellishments that go along with that are the hexagon, and so these are all fun things. Even if you're not too fond of the stamp set or the turtle thing, the paper and the embossing and the gems are really fun to use because you can use them in so many ways. Okay, so on Whip It Up Wednesday, I did these cards really quick with my punches, punched out some of those images and punched out cardstock to coordinate, put it on a sheet of designer paper as a layer with a sentiment, and bam, you're done. So that was a nice, quick and easy card. If you missed that, you can go back and look there. Here's another card that I got as a swap from Judy Tuttle. I got this when I was on the Disney incentive trip, and it features all those elements that I was just telling you. Okay, this one here looks like it was fussy cut from the designer paper. So isn't that just adorable? Okay, and uses all those greens, even though you might not think necessarily they go together, but when it's all together and tied in, with the images, it looks really nice. Part of the suite also is this ribbon, and it's two-tone, dark on one side, lighter on the other side. I do not have that ribbon right now, but that does coordinate nicely with that. Okay, so what we're doing today is a fun fold. Here's one that I've done years ago. It's called a shelf card. And because this looks like a little shelf there, or two shelves. And even though it pops up like this, the beauty of it is it lays flat for mailing, and it fits in your regular A2 size envelope. So that's really, really fun, and it stands up nicely. Of course, when I stand it up, you're not going to be able to see it on the camera. But here we go. We're standing up nicely here. Good morning, Susan and Joan and Beverly and Crystal. Nice to see you all. Shirley, nice to see you too. Okay, so here's one that I did with, remember those cute little penguins we had? Oh, they were adorable. I love them. And then here's one that I did. So it doesn't have to be cutesy and whimsical. I used the little snowdrifts in there for that. That was fun for the little penguin to be sliding around on. So another one I made that I just love, this one, a little bit more serious note. Again, it has that pop-up effect, that shelf effect, but lays flat for mailing. And I just loved these birds in the seaside theme that we did on that. So this paper looked like the background and then your shells in the front. This is one of my favorite cards. I don't know if I could ever send it because I just love it so much. Okay, so, but I'm glad I saved it because now I could show you different versions of the card that we're going to do. When I was reminded of this card, I said, oh, the turtles will look really nice on there because you can kind of create a scene. And that's what these turtles are really all about. Okay, creating a fun scene here. Okay, so there are a lot of, let me switch here. There we go. There are a lot of elements that we can play with today. So I'm going to put my whole big package of that Turtley Cute aside, and I'm going to pull out just this part here. I've already cut with my die. I already cut out this guy here. Now, Stampin' Up! Does this often where you can use your dies to cut out the images on the designer paper. So that cuts out that guy there. And if you notice, the balloon string does not go over his hand. It goes behind his hand because that's kind of, as if he's gripping it. You're not going to see it going across his hand, but also makes it easy for this to be cut out and you don't have to use the balloon. So I have here, does this fit the balloon too? Oh, that could fit the balloon. That's the banjo, but I guess it could fit the balloon. How about that? I didn't even think about that until now. Okay, well, that could work, I suppose. But, and then there's another die here that cuts out this guy who is facing the other way, which is nice. They can have a little conversation. And hi, Marianne. Welcome. Oh, it's joining from Florida. Nice to hear. Florida, Minnesota. I know we have Maryland and South Carolina. Welcome from everybody. All right, so this cuts that out. Now, what's really cool and unique about these turtle dies? Oh, I'm sorry, there's another one here that cuts out a turtle that's on his back on another VSP, but also cuts out the one that you can stamp here. All right, so here's this guy that I already cut out with my die. All right, what's really fun is the die also puts a slit in the arm so that you can fit something in there as if he's holding something. It could be a sentiment, a banner. It could be the birthday cake, the present. Okay, any of these things will work, and it really makes it look more realistic. So I love that. In this case, he's going to be holding the banjo. All right, so I'm going to die cut this banjo. I already practiced this already, so I'm going to give you a little of some tips here. Okay, this part is the center of the banjo, and that's usually white. So I'm going to do that on a little scrap of white. These I'm doing silver. I've seen some people do brown and whatever. Typically, the banjo parts are silver, but you can do whatever you want. Make it psychedelic if you want. It's okay. It's your card. It could be fun. Okay. Besides, how many real turtles have you seen playing a banjo? It's all just for fun. Okay. So we are going to, I'm going to bring in my mini machine here so that I can do it in front of you. And now you might notice that on the banjo, I know a little bit about banjos because my son-in-law plays, and I'm a music teacher as well. So the banjo has 4 strings connected here, and then this part here is where another string is connected. Right now, look right here. This is a separate piece. Okay, and this is like the little tail piece where on a banjo at the bottom, that's where the strings are attached to on the drum part of the banjo, on the body of it, and then they string up here to the pegs. So this is going to be a separate little piece, which is really tricky to hold on to. So I suggest tweezers. So I'm going to run these through. I had a comment once on one of my videos where somebody says, I get confused with how to put the dies down. And so she was a new stamper, and she said, could you please show it sometime? You know, because I did it the wrong way and I was confused. So I can't always assume that everybody knows exactly how to do it all. So that's why I do show some of the details. So yes, you're going to put the cut side down, and I'm not stamping this first. I'm just cutting it out with the silver. And I'm going to put this over this way because then I'm going to try something else. I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to put this plate on top. Okay, I have your plates for Stamp It Up. This is all worn out because I've used it for so long, but you have your base plate that tells you the formula of how to die cut. Your clear plate, you put your paper, your die on top with the cut side, the blade side down, and then you make your sandwich with the other clear plate on top, and then you're going to run it through. Make sure it's straight and it's going to feed through the space. Okay, and then we're going to take those off and build our banjo. All right, so there's our white piece. And use my pick tool to poke these guys out. There and there. Okay, so there are those little holes that are just for that, to help you push it through. Okay, and again, I've seen some people, hello, Kurt from Wisconsin. Good morning, Michelle, another Maryland person. So see that little piece right there? Teeny tiny. I'm going to get my tweezers out. They're right here. Okay. Put this aside. And I'm also going to bring my silicone mat in, because as I'm gluing little pieces, if glue gets on here, it won't stick. If it gets on my paper, it's going to be sticky. So glue on here will not stick. It'll just rub right off whenever you are done using it. So we have the body, and I was looking to see, does this piece go on top or does it go behind? So to be honest, I like it behind for a couple of reasons. One thing is this has a little raised edge to it. Okay, which makes me think of the strings. And if they didn't want that on top, a little piece, a little raised part right in the middle, then they would have just made it flat like the rest of it. And that way it does give the banjo just a little bit more dimension than if you go like this and you don't see anything here. So that's my take on it. And so I would glue that right behind, and I'm going to glue the circle part onto there, the white part. Did you know that, well, actually, I should ask you. Hi, Jackie. Does anybody know where what country or region did the banjo originate? Let's see if anybody there knows. See if you get the right answer. I'll give you a little time. It takes a little time for it to come through on my end anyway. Meanwhile, I'll do some gluing while you think about it. No cheating, no looking up on your phones. Does anybody know offhand? Or a quick guess? All right. Okay, I have some guesses there. Any other guesses? Then I'll let you know the answer. Okay. Okay, Susan says Appalachia. That's a guess. Well, it certainly is popular in folk music, isn't it? Okay, that's not where it originated. In fact, Jackie, you got it right. It's Africa, believe it or not. So it actually started out as just a drum. That's why the body looks like a drum with a stick attached. And they put strings across it. So then you have kind of like two instruments in one in a way, right? So it started out as a drum in Africa. Okay, so then we have this little piece here. That's the tail part that is going to be down here. Let's see if I can pick that up and show you. And that's where, whoa, that's where the strings will get attached. Now, what do you see missing here? Strings, right? So there are no strings on here. I was looking, oh, was there a stamp that had the strings? No. So what I did was I took my smoky slate marker. Now, this is an old style marker. The older markers have more of a ballpoint tip to them, which I really, really like. Now they have more of a felt tip. It's thicker. Let me see if this one has it. Nope, this one has the ballpoint. That's the brush end. And then this, okay. So let me put this behind some white. See if you could see the difference here. Okay, so this one is more of a felt tip. Okay, it's a thicker tip. And this is more like a roller ballpoint top to it. So I can get a finer line with it. And I liked these better for like when I want to sign my name on the back of my cards. It gave a finer look. But anyway, I still have this one, so I'm using it. I'm going to draw the strings on here, have them come down to here. Now, remember I said there were 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 from over here. So I'm going to magic of TV, of the camera, bring in the one that I already did. See, I already drew the strings on there. Now, you can't bring them up here, but what I did do is with that ballpoint, that hard tip, I continued the strings across here and made little indentations. So if you're looking really close, you can kind of see the indentations going into this part here that looks like the strings. All right, so that's what we have. I guess if I wanted to, I could even draw the strings to go way up there, but we're getting into some minutia right now. But you know, when you have a career or you have a knowledge of something, it's hard to step away from that and do it wrong. Like when I see music notes that are printed backwards or G clefs that are backwards or different things that are upside down, whatever. But anyway, it's kind of like, oh, it drives me crazy. There is a real way. And if you're going to make it in print, then make sure you have it the real way. That's kind of my thing. Anyway, so now look here how this guy can hold the banjo. Is that so cute? So cute. Oh, hi, Lynn. Try to find Facebook. Finally watch. Oh, couldn't find on Facebook. There's some people watching on Facebook, so I know I'm on. That's okay, Lynn. You're here, so it's all good. Now, one other thing that's missing on this banjo is what's called a bridge. And the bridge is part of the banjo here that the strings go over so that they can vibrate. If they were flat on the drum, then they wouldn't be able to vibrate. So it goes over a tiny raised portion, a piece called the bridge. But I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to put his hand right over there where probably that bridge would be. And there we go. Now, one thing I'm going to try right in front of you here now is I'm going to try, since my son-in-law plays lefty, okay, if you are play an instrument lefty, then your right hand is on the fingerboard and your left hand is strumming. So this piece here is supposed to be on the top because that's another tuning peg so that you can tune that a shorter string. So I'm going to see if it works for me to die cut this upside down, and then I would be able to get it in the left hand position. Again, a lot of minutia, but maybe things that you didn't think you needed to know today. But hey, you know, if you're ever on Jeopardy or playing some trivia game. You never know. Something like this just might come up. All right. Now, I don't know how it's going to look with the cut side on the foil. Okay, well, you know what? One thing that doesn't look good is the foil picked up a lot of those cracks and ridges that were on my plate here. So if I had a brand new plate, that could probably work, and I'd be happy with that. So just something else to think about. Try it upside down, but make sure you put it on a part of your plate that's nice and smooth and not going to pick up those little things. So anyway, that little piece is going in the garbage. So now let's build our card. The moment you've been waiting for, right? I told you there are a lot of things that will be going on here, but once you get it, it's really pretty easy. Okay, we're going to start with 4 1/4 by 11. Now I've looked at my original cards and they were actually cut down to 10 1/2. And I'm not really sure why we had to do that. So I'm just leaving it at 11 because I did make one keeping it 11. Maybe it's so we don't see the edge of it inside. I don't know. But I think we're going to see that anyway. There's like a 1/2 inch fold. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a 1/2 inch fold in here. So instead, it's just going to be an inch going down an inch. So maybe that's so that you don't see it so much, but you're going to see it. One way or another, you're going to see it. So what's the difference? Why bother cutting it is what I'm thinking. Anyway, we're going to score this now at 5 1/2. I'm going to open up the arm. 5 1/2 because that's going to score the card in half. And then we're going to make those other folds that are going to make the shelf part. So 6 3/4. I'll add these to my next post with all the cards. Okay, so I'll add the measurements there. 6 3/4, and then 8 3/4. Oh, thanks, Patty. Glad you like it. Glad you like it. And then we're going to go to 10. Okay, so we're left with a flap that's an inch that's going to be tucked on the inside. If it bothers you, cut off the 1/2 inch and you'll have less seam there, I imagine. Okay, so now we're going to just fold all of these in the same direction inward. All right, I'm going to take my bone folder and give them all good creases. Burnish them is what we like to say. And you'll want some tear and tape on this card because something interactive or something that has a lot of motion to it, you want some nice firm tape, firm adhesive. Okay, so this is the concept of what we're doing here. This is going to get tucked in and it's going to go against the back of the card like that. All right, so that's the concept right there. And okay, yep, there we go. It's going to be nice and straight like that. Now we need the other piece that's going to come up and over here. And that piece, I didn't cut ahead of time, but that piece has to be 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. So let me cut that here now. 5 1/2 by 2 1/2, and that's going to hold our focal point. And that we're going to score at 3 3/4, and then at 5. Right, let's burnish those. A nice firm folds. You know what's funny? When I was small and in school, like elementary school or whatever, I remember doing art classes where we had to fold things and people would never crease the folds all the really hard. I was like, crease they would just like fold it real quick and go like this, and then it would not be nice and crisp. It bothered me way back then. So maybe it's destiny. Whoa, hi Elizabeth from Scotland. Nice to see you here today. May I ask what the black tape for is on your paper cutter? Okay, good question. I just took some washi tape and I covered over the metric measurements because I don't use those, and the extra numbers were just distracting to me. So I just covered them up. You could see down here, this is the imperial, and then that's the metric. I didn't need all the extra numbers and the extra distractions. So yeah, so it just makes a cleaner look for me, and I don't have to worry, oh wait, am I looking up there or down here? And then the lines were off from here. So thanks for asking, though. I'm sure other people might have wondered about that. Okay, so now this is going to end up fitting like this. Okay, so now let's decide first how we want to decorate the front of this. I took a piece of garden green and I embossed it with that turtle shell embossing folder. And this part is 4 inches by 1 3/4. I'm going to glue that right onto there. And when something is embossed and only part of the surface is raised to catch the glue, make sure you put plenty on there. Okay, so we're putting that right there. Okay, because like I said, we get the concept. This is the bottom, and this is what's going to be facing the front, and this is going to be the shelf part. So we don't need DSP on either of those parts there, just on the part that faces the front. Okay, then same thing here. We'll want something here, and we want something here. So I'm going to find some designer paper that I like on that. I want something a little, not quite so bold in the background there. Okay, I know I want to use some of the stripes. I might put that way in the back here. And then I want something here, but I don't want it too busy because I'm going to be putting my turtle on there. So I just might want to use the music. Yeah, why not? I don't have any other yellow on there, but I think it'll work. Okay, so this part here is going to be 4 by 4. And because it's a square, you don't have to worry about your direction until you glue it on. All right, and I'll want that glued onto there, leaving that little bit of a border. Okay. I always hate to cover up these other little guys in here. That's okay. There's lots more where that came from. And it's in the annual catalog, so it's going to be good for a year. Yay! Okay, so that's what we have so far. Now I'll put the music notes on here, and that's going to be 3.5 by 2 1/4. Get that out of the way. Oh my gosh, we always need a bigger desk, right? Okay, 3.5 by 2 1/4. Is that little music theme? I think will be adorable. Ta-da! Let's glue that down. And here is where our tear and tape comes in handy. Comes on a super big roll that will last you quite a while. This is a brand new roll here. See, there's a lot on there. So although it says tear and tape, I still like to cut it. I mean, you could tear it, but especially on smaller pieces where I want to get right to the edge, I want to make sure that flap is covered. So we're going to put the tear and tape on the small 1/2 inch flap of the smaller cardstock piece. All right, because that's what's going to hold it to the back of the card. And then on the back side of this, we're going to put tear and tape down below. Now, there's enough room for us to put 2 strips over here. Make sure it holds on, especially because it's going to be holding on to something that's embossed. So that means when the cardstock lays on top there, it's only going to hold on to the part that's raised. So that's maybe just half the surface area. So I want to make sure I have plenty. Now you'll want to make sure you don't overlap your tear and tape, because then it'll be hard to take the backing off one of them. Okay, there we go. And while we have the tear and tape out, we're going to put tear and tape on this back flap here. Again, let's look at it to make sure you know how that's going to attach. So we don't want it on top of here or here. We want it at the end of that piece. Okay, so that's going to be at the top there. Again, I'm going to do a double row. I'm going to make sure it's going to hold. Hi, Debbie. Good morning. Okay, that's okay. We can watch the rest and watch the replay later. It's all good. You have your Diet Coke with you? Diet Pepsi? What is it you drink? Coke or Pepsi? I forget. Okay. Please give me a thumbs up. Oh, yes. Thank you, Susan. That is very helpful. Thumbs up, hearts. Thank you so much for mentioning. Facebook too. It helps. It really helps my analytics, and Facebook will push out to more people. So I do appreciate that support very much. Very, very much. Okay. So now you would think, is it going to be hard to get this all lined up the right way? No, it's going to be very easy. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to fold this down to so we only see this, and these 2 sections are laying flat in the back. And then we're just going to fold this up, because that's how it's going to end up being folded when it goes in the envelope. All right. So that's what we did. And then when we pull it out, only that part with the tear and tape is glued. Ta-da! Simple. And look how all nice and square it is. So you didn't have to worry about getting it just right. Now this is going to be a similar process. We're going to tear off all the backings here. I'm going to fold this part down. Okay, so now I have my tear and tape here. You can see it glistening here, here, and here. It's all on the back. And I'm going to layer this so that the fold meets up with the top of the card, and it's centered across the front. So wherever this lands, it's going to be about a 1/2 inch from here, but that's okay. All you want to do is make sure it meets up with the top here. Now I'm going to make sure I get it straight. I'm going to use my grid paper on the top. 0 is the center, and it's just past the 2-inch marks on either side there. And I'm lining it up with the lines. Make sure it's straight. And then I'm just going to center this. It'll go at the 1 1/4 mark. And I'm just making it even with the top of the card. And then I'm going to press it down. So remember, I had tear and tape on the back, just on the little tab here, and then on the front here. And when we open it up, it's going to make that second shelf. Isn't that cool? And so you don't have to eyeball it. You can just use the tools you have there and just line it up. Okay, so now we get to decorate the card. Let's get our banjo playing guy over here. And I'm going to glue this banjo onto him, under his arm. He's so adorable, isn't he? Oh. Okay, so now one thing to remember, when I put glue on the back of the banjo, it will show through the back because that's a slit there. So just keep that in mind. You might want to use your silicone mat. Eventually it's going to go on here anyway. So let's give it a little, I'll use the silicone mat to, whatever glue goes through will not be on my grid paper. Oh, I didn't need to put that all the way up there yet. Tuck it under his arm. Decide on the angle. So his other arm is there. And it's kind of hiding where that bridge would be. Now, just to give it a little bit of dimension, I'm going to tuck a glue dot or two under his hand because I don't want to flop it up too much. I don't want that to get caught when somebody is looking at the card and then his arm gets torn off. Then he couldn't play the banjo anymore. That would be terrible. So I'm going to put a glue dot under there just to kind of hold it down, but it will stick up a little bit. Just a little bit. In fact, I might fold it and we'll give it just a little bit more height. Just little details, right? Sometimes it makes a difference. Okay, now he's ready. If he had a partner, he could do those dueling banjo things, right? Okay, so there we go. He is very sweet. And I was debating whether or not to put another guy on here. I probably won't do it right now because I want to show you something else. But I cut this out and used the die to cut him out like this. I could put another guy down here. And I cut out one of the teeniest dies that we have is a little microphone. I stamped this on smoky slate and with Memento Black. And believe it or not, there is a die for it. But you know what? It's so simple to cut out. I just fussy cut it. Why get my die out? And then sometimes it's hard to see if it's straight. So I just said, the heck with that. So I thought maybe it could be cute if this guy had a microphone here and he's singing along to the banjo guy. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe I'll do that later. I won't take your time right now. But I do want to show you this other bundle. Oh my goodness, hitting my computer there. Sorry about that, guys. Diet Coke, right? Okay, Debbie, got it. I thought so. I'm a Coke person. What are you all, Coke or Pepsi? I'm definitely a Coke person. I don't care much for Pepsi. I don't drink soda much at all, but when I do, it's Coke. Oh, Guatemala. Hi, Glenda. Welcome. Welcome. Nice to see you here today. That's exciting. Okay. More messages. What a great bundle to have in your stash, because sometimes you're looking around for a sentiment. You're not sure which set has a sentiment that you like. This one has a lot. Hi there. Time to celebrate. Lots of love. Way to go. You can do anything. Oh, happy day. You're absolutely the best. Happy birthday. I adore you. Good luck forever, friends. I'm always here for you. Miss you. Thanks a lot. Congratulations. You're simply incredible. Whew. All of those in one stamp. And then, of course, there is a die to cut them all out. So look at that. It all lines up. All lines up with that. So basically, this is what you do. I already mounted it on my huge block. I'm going to take my Memento ink, I'm going to go over the whole thing. Make sure it's all inked up. Use your ink pad to the stamp because it's too big to do it the other way around. And also this way I can make sure there's ink over all those letters. Nice and strong. Okay. Then I take a large piece of paper. I'm going to make sure that there's plenty of room on the top and the bottom because I made a little bit of a goof before. I'll show you what happened. Okay, I'm going to lay it down on there, and then we're going to rub the back. Okay, so one thing that I like to do is take a piece of scrap paper, put it over just in case if your cardstock is a little smaller than the actual stamp. You don't want to get ink on your hands. Okay, so I'm giving that a good rub. Make sure I get it all over. And then carefully pull it up. You have all of those sentiments right there. And we can run that through the machine. Now, what I did wrong the first time is I cut this too short way down here. Oh, looks like I got a little blob there. That's okay. I still have all those other sentiments to play with. I cut it a little too short, and then it cut this oval off here. So all you have to do is line this up and stick it down with some washi tape because you don't want it moving. Nothing like a crooked sentiment, right? Oop. I went to grab it and it didn't come. Okay, I will run this through. Again, the cut side is down for my new embossing and die cutting people. We have the base plate for the big machine. You have a white plate. You have plate number 3, the clear. You put your cardstock with your die on top, and then you put your number 3 clear plate on top of that again. And then we're going to run it through, and you will have all of those labels ready to go. Now, of course, if you wanted different words on there, you can just run the die cut with plain paper, and then you'll have a lot of blank labels that you can add other things to if you have sentiments that will fit those, which I'm sure there's always something, right? And carefully, gently pull off the washi. It's best if it's been used, so it's not quite as sticky. And then look, ta-da! You've got all of these sentiments here. I need to check you very efficient. Okay, so look at that. All of those ready to go. I already did some before, so now I have double. And I'm going to put those in there. And then I need sentiment. They're ready to go. I just love having that. Saves me a lot of time. I'm using Oh Happy Day with the back. Do you see me? Okay, hopefully I'm back. Hopefully you see me. Yep. Okay, my laptop battery just died. I had to go plug it in. Hopefully I'm back. Tell me if you can see me again. Okay, I'll have to add my other camera here so we can see. Hold on one second. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right, we're good. Oh, thanks, Glenda. Thank you, Patty. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Shirley, we're back. We're back. Okay, so yes, Lydia, thank you for reminding me to mention that when you are using your clear plates, each time you run them through your machine, you should flip them over. Okay, both of them, because you can see this one is already, it's showing a little bit of warping, but if I use it the other way, then it will kind of compensate and it will keep them flat. If you keep doing it the same way, it's going to continue warping and warping and warping, and then it won't be as efficient cutting anymore. Okay, so thank you for that reminder, Lydia. I do appreciate that. All right, so let's get back to decorating our guys here. All right, I'm going to do, oh, happy day. And you know what? If you're willing to just hang out for a minute, maybe I will cut that other little turtle just to see what he looks like here. I think it'll be adorable. If I could see where he went. Oh, lost power, lost the turtle. Heavens to Betsy. All right, well, you know what? There's another one right here. All right, quick and easy enough to do. He'll fit in my mini machine. And okay, so my plate was like this before. I'm flipping it over. I'm going to line him up here. And he too will get a slit where his arm is so that we can tuck in that microphone a little bit. I know we're dying to see this little band come together. Ah, look what I just found. Over in the corner, I found him. Well, that's good because there's the microphone. Okay, and speaking of coming together, what a segue, I would love for you to be part of our Daisy team. Some of my team members are already on this this live presentation. Okay, my friends Lydia and Susan and Patty and who else did I miss? Lynn. Okay, I hope they all can attest to how fun it is to be a demonstrator. Jackie, all right, we've got a lot of people on here. So it's all fun. I know some of you are demonstrators as well, and that's, maybe you can just say, it's great getting a discount, right? And demonstrators get the same discounts and sales that the customers get too. So that BOGO sale is definitely something that demonstrators can take advantage of. Oh, look at that. Look how cute. Oh my goodness. Just adorable. They're having a regular old party there, aren't they? That is just so sweet. All right, just real quick, I'll put this guide together. So for the join offer, only till the end of this month, you got 2 more days. The starter kit is $99, and you get to pick out, are you ready? $165 worth of products. Yep. You normally get $125. Now you get $165. It's amazing. I kind of wish I could do that. Okay, there he is singing away. Gonna glue him down there. Maybe this guy I'll pop up. This guy I'll glue down because the banjo's already sticking up a little bit. Yeah, you'll get 20% discount. You will get to be part of my Daisy Bunch team. We have a lot of fun at our meetings. We stay in touch a lot throughout the year. My team members get to participate in all of my online events and gets all of my tutorials for free. And we have a special Facebook page that we can just call our own and share business and fun things on. and you can promote to get even more discount as time goes on. You do not have to be a business person. You can just be a hobbyist. And if you want to start a business, I'm here to help you do that too. Doesn't have to be huge. You could have just a few customers. It's all good. Any little bit helps. All right, here we go. A little music party here. All right. Oh, I said I was going to pop him up. See, I'm too busy, too excited about talking about the joint offer. Well, we'll pop up the sentiment. How about that? Okay. Here we go. There and there. Any scrapbookers out there? Any scrapbookers? Because there's a great scrapbooking event that Stampin' Up! is offering. You can register for it now. You would do, it's a 3-day event in July, virtual event, but you don't have to attend it live. You can watch replays and recordings after. But you get all the materials you need to do 12 2-page scrapbook spreads. Okay, one for each month of the year. So that's 24 pages altogether. They will walk you through and craft with you. And of course, you can tweak and do things on your own as well. But it's all a new thing for Stampin' Up! So there are just limited spaces. So make sure that you sign up soon. I don't know how many spaces that is, but they do say it's limited. All right, so here's another card here. Oh, yes, Debbie, you're right. If you have an order of $100 or more, just consider joining. Consider joining. And then you would get all the rest of your other stuff, your other $66 worth of stuff for free. Plus, you'll get 20% off your future orders. And you get the same rewards, 10% rewards that customers get, okay, with the new reward system. You can't beat it. All right, so here's one of the other cards that I did. I put the embossing on the back this time, the 4x4, and I mixed up the designer paper in the front. And this time I'm using a little bird watcher. And so I was putting this on here, and that looks cute, but it bothered me that this was kind of so busy, and I wanted this person to, I don't know if it's a him or her, stand out a little bit. So I'm thinking, okay, well, what if I put, a white piece there? We can still see the turtle shell, and we could put that on there. That looks really cute, but it would just look too plain and too square, and I really didn't like that so much. It looks a little too stark. So I said, what if I just put some granny apple green? And I said, well, that looks okay, but again, something about it I really just didn't like. So this is kind of what I do. I try different things. These pieces of paper are not going to go to waste. I will certainly use them. So then it dawned on me. One of my favorite go-tos lately, everyday arches. I wonder how that would look, because it would bring in some white, yet it would look more decorative, and it would frame that turtle, because I was thinking of an oval kind of thing. I said, oh, the arches, because of the rounded body of the turtle and then the rounded arch. When I put that on there, I thought that looked perfect. What do you think? Do you like that? Because that way I could see more of the turtle shell pattern and then a little bit of the white background. So I think that's what I'm going to do there. And so I just wanted to show you that thought process and why I chose it. Okay, it's one thing to get, see, I'm the teacher, one thing to get all the answers. Okay, do this, do that, do that. But sometimes, you have to know how to figure things out yourself and why certain things might be good. Okay, now this guy I will put up on the dimensionals. And then we're done. We are done. Okay, wait for ours to come back in stock. Oh, I know, Debbie. That's the one thing. They get so popular, and then they're out of stock. That's a problem. Well, I guess you know that Stampin' Up! Now lets you opt to get a reminder, or not a reminder, but notification when something does come back into stock. Let's give a thumbs up and hearts for that. That is fabulous. Rather than you having to go and check out the website every day to see if it's back in stock or not, that is definitely a step in the right direction for Stampin' Up. Okay, they're always thinking of us, and they do listen to our concerns. So I know this is a little overkill for dimensionals, but it's designer paper and it's flimsier than cardstock. So I want to make sure it's supported well. What you also could do is mount this on cardstock before cutting it out. And then this one I did fussy cut because there isn't a die. And then that would make it more stable. But I did not do that. So that's why I made sure I'm supporting it with all the foam dimensional dots. Okay. So you like that art today? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Glenda. Okie dokie. All right. I want to give a little shout out to one of our team members, Karen. Sometimes she's on or live. She'll probably watch the replay, but I want to shout out to her 1 year Stampin' anniversary. She's been a demonstrator with me for 1 year today. So she was somebody who was on the fence. Should I do it? Should I not? And then last minute, because there's an offer last minute, she decided to do it. And she's been with me a year. So happy Stampiversary, Karen. All right, so those are our cute little turtly, awesome, turtly cute cards for today. And then, of course, like I said, we had these here. So cute. And going out any day now is another version to my PaperShare subscribers. They get tutorials on how to use a DSP, but I keep that exclusive just for them. So I'm not going to show you that one because they get a special treat to have something just for them. So anyway, I hope that you had a good time today, and I hope you learned a lot. I hope you have a great weekend and you can squeeze in some stamping and some other fun things as well. Spend time with your family and your friends and just have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Okay? All right, take care, guys. Thanks again for joining on, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye now.